What's up, everybody? Welcome to the video. My name is Ivan. I'm an emergency medicine doctor here in New York City, and I use my reflections at the hospital and life to talk about the deeper things. And today we're talking about intuition, or what I call a better form of decision making. So as a doctor, in my first year of being a doctor, a lot of things have happened, right? A lot of decisions have been made, a lot of situations I've been in that have been both comfortable and uncomfortable. And one thing I've realized is intuition has saved me a few times in the hospital and outside the hospital. Now, before I talk about intuition and the importance of developing intuition in your own life, I want to talk about the contrast, right? How I used to make decisions. So I'm a very practical, logical guy, right? I usually see A and B. So either I'm going to eat chicken or beef today, right? I'm going to go outside or I'm going to stay inside. I'm going to play basketball or I'm going to go dance salsa. I'm going to do jujitsu or some other activity. But it's either A versus B, right? You're making logical, practical choices. And there's moments in life where you get super emotional, crazy thing happens. Let's say someone gets sick, or you hear that someone has a car accident or something like that. You're making an emotional decision, like your emotions are, out of whack, and maybe you can make a certain impulsive decision. So there's logical, there's emotional, and then there's intuition. I think intuition is the best integration of both, right? Because intuition combines the logic, which is the practical, the emotional, and the subconscious, right? So I'll tell you how this has helped me as a doctor. As a doctor, you go through residency, right? Especially in emergency medicine, after you graduate medical school, the work isn't done, it just starts. So you start residency. Now you're a doctor, but you're practicing with other doctors. You're not able to be by yourself, right? So you're making decisions but not completely by yourself. I've seen a lot of patients this year where my intuition, my gut feeling told me, this person is sick. Now I had no proof. I was just looking at the patient, talking to them, but something inside said, there's something off, this person is sick. And then I did the tests, I did the scans, I did the labs, and it came back that the person had a perforated abdomen appendix, right? Or a person was having a heart attack, or a person was suffering from stroke. Just by talking to the person. And the way I train my intuition and the purpose of residency is to see so many patients. You see so many different patterns that you train yourself to see, okay, what is abnormal? What deviates from the norm? So that's how intuition is trained. And that's why I think it's a super, super useful decision-making tool, but you have to have trained your intuition. You have to have seen a lot. And that transitions to observation. It transitions us to how do we train our intuition, right? So as kids, a lot of us, I don't know how you guys at home grew up, but I grew up in St. Paul, Minnesota, in Africa, in California. And we used to explore. I had a ripstick. I would walk outside. I played with animals. We used to hunt. We used to do everything outside, right? And the world was really our oyster. The world was our playground. The world was our first classroom. So you go outside, you pick up a tree, you pick up a plant, you look at it, you turn it upside down, you pick up a random fruit, you smell it, you touch it, you rub it, maybe you chew it, you try it out. Right? You see an animal, you observe it for a day or two, and then you come back the next day, you build a little house for it. If it escapes the house, you come back and try to find it again. You're doing these experiments in the world, right? You're testing your knowledge of the world. You're testing your explorability. And the more you go and engage in this classroom, which is the world, the more you create patterns, you figure out things, you've learned to trust yourself. Intuition also works with people. The more you interact with different people, right? You go into the world, you do different hobbies, you talk to different people, you see that there are certain people that look a certain way because they're from a certain region of the world. Certain countries speak a certain way in a certain accent because they're from a certain region of the world. Certain food and certain traditions are because of a certain region of the world. So you start to see these patterns. Some people are taller. Some people have darker complexions because they're from areas where hotter sunlight, right? So they need more melanin. Other people have lighter complexion and thinner noses because they're from mountainous areas where they need thinner noses because the air needs to be warmed up through the nasal turbinates before it gets inside the body. But these things you kind of observe in passing. You see different cultures, right? But you have to interact with the world. That interaction is what trains you into be a complete specimen of a person, right? So I think that most people really don't have their intuition trained because they're spent looking inward, right? They spend most of their days, whether they're playing video games, whether they're on their phone, on TikTok, whether they're watching TV, but they're not really looking outside into the world anymore. They're kind of just in their own world, in their own box. I went to a comedy show maybe a few days ago, and the thing about comedy is cool is there's a random person from somewhere in the country that has made his own observations, right? And he comes up in front of a stage of 100 people, and he tries to connect with us based on things that happen in everyone's life. So he tries to find the common ground and tries to make it funny. And the comedian is interesting because sometimes the person that opens the comedy set, he's doing what we call crowd work. So he's meeting these people. He said, okay, I see a couple in the front. Where are you guys from? You guys are from Canada. Okay, do you guys like maple syrup? No, okay. And he tries to make another connection with Canada. He sees two people sitting uncomfortably. How did you guys meet? He's really pulling from the audience, but he's built that skill set of interacting with people where you can do this comfortably in an audience in front of other people. But it all goes back to like interacting with the world, getting outside of your comfort zone, doing shit in the world, right? That's how you train intuition. And as a doctor, I think that the longer I do this, the more I practice, the better my intuition will become, the more nuances I'll be able to see. I had one of the craziest situations in the hospital where I saw someone, I felt that he was sick. I escalated it, and I was able to like find a major bleed. The person was bleeding out. He was losing liters and liters of blood. His heart was racing. His blood pressure was soft. And like, if we didn't intervene within minutes, the person may have died. But that my intuition told me something is off, and I really can't prove it, but I'm gonna do the necessary investigation. So if you were to take anything from this video, intuition is a great form of decision making, but you have to develop your intuition. One, by putting yourself outside into the world, getting data points, doing your own exploration, being your own Columbus, right? And then once you have these data points, you can develop that intuition. There's different types of intuition. There's social intuition, knowing how to be in social settings, what to say in social settings. There's emotional intuitions in relationships, how to be in a relationship. How do you see the person that you're with? How do you understand them? And there's just other practical aspects of intuition. So if you could take anything from this video, pay attention to the world, use the world as your classroom, and develop that interaction. And this is coming from your doctor friend, Yvonne. See you soon. Bye.